know something? I have not known a single person who has not grown up watching Disney movies. I mean, just the name Disney is part of everyone's lives because of what their cartoons and movies have brought to us with their enchantment and wonder. And like many others out there, I've grown up with a lot of Disney movies, and as a kid, I've made it my mission to watch them all. Yeah, while other kids were trying to collect Pokemon cards, I was doing the total opposite of that. But which ones are my favorites? I can tell you right now, this was a tough list to do considering I really like a lot of Disney movies and I'm very enthusiastic about the medium of animation itself. It's pretty subjective. Your favorites could be my favorites too, although all the features listed here are in the traditional fashion, not computer generated. This list is also based on opinion, so try not to take it to heart if your favorite isn't on the list. Here are my top 11 Disney animated films. Warning, just because the Nostalgia Critic does top 11 lists doesn't mean that makes them number, like, exclusive or something to a general list. These really are my 11 personal favorites, so kindly please refrain from any post saying that I'm a ripoff or copycat. In fact, I'll stray from the norm right now. But first, the runner-up. Runner-up. The Song of the South animated segments. I put this as runner-up because these were shown in certain sections of the movie, but this is the one Disney film that most likely will not be put out on video anytime soon here in America because of its racial imagery. But I'll be honest about two things, and I hope I don't get any backlash here. First off, it's not that racist. And second, the only thing worth watching in this movie are the animated segments. The live-action parts, I really didn't find that interesting. Based on African-American folklore, Uncle Remus tells 3 different stories about Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. There's the story of Brer Rabbit running away and getting caught in a snare trap, the tar dummy story, and the laughing place story. These segments may not be well known to some people, although they do know Zippity-Doo-Dah right away.
Zippity-Doo-Dah, zippity-yay, my oh my, what a wonderful day.
I strongly advise you to check these out because they have outstanding animation and are very funny because of the strong personalities of the 3 characters themselves. You've got Brer Rabbit, whose original incarnation was part of the inspiration for Bugs Bunny because of his trickery. Then there's the sly Brer Fox, always wanting Brer Rabbit for a meal.
I's gonna roast ya on that fire.
And the brawny but dim-witted Brer Bear. They are truly dynamic, although Brer Rabbit's voice is a little annoying at points.
Brother Fox, I mean, whatever you do, Brother Fox, whatever you do, please, Brother Fox, please don't fling me in that brown bag.
But I really wish they made full-blown cartoons of them. The closest they got was a collection of stories Disney put out called Uncle Remus Stories that I used to own. Look them up on whatever video hosting site because they're kind of the only place you can probably find them. Full of hilarity throughout, these segments are what I consider Disney's hidden animated gem. Number 11. The Three Caballeros. This is one some of you may or may not have heard of. This was one of Disney's movies based around trips to Mexico him and the artist took in part of the Good Neighbor policy during World War II. You know, to let them know we're on their side. The Three Caballeros is also a package feature, shorts compiled together to make a feature. For those of you who are unfamiliar as to who the Three Caballeros are, they're Donald Duck, Joe Carioca, and Panchito the Rooster. Donald gets a large box from Latin America. The box contains presents that bring him and the viewer something different, including 2 separate stories. One about a penguin who wants to get away from the cold Arctic, and a flying donkey. The Three Caballeros immerses you into the Latin American culture with its bouncy musical score, bold colorful backgrounds, and even a little bit of information. Let's not forget the title song either. It's one of my personal favorite musical numbers Disney's ever done. It's energetic and superbly animated. It is no doubt the centerpiece of the whole movie.
Stars to guide us, guitars here beside us, to play as we go.
What makes the movie groundbreaking for the time, though, was the combination of live action and animation, which is a device Disney used in its Alice comedies in the 1920s. In the last 10 minutes or so in the movie, it becomes very surrealistic. You'd think you're watching another movie. But hey, I didn't care. I mean, I thought it was kind of weird looking into Donald's subconscious, but at the same time, it really intrigued me. Bright, colorful, full of energy, and probably the closest you can get to watching a Donald Duck feature, The Three Caballeros is an appealing Disney movie that you should definitely check out. Number 10. The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Easily Disney's best package feature. In the 40s, he had Saludos Amigos, The Three Caballeros, Make Mine Music, Fun and Fancy Free, Melody Time, and this one. It was originally titled Two Fabulous Characters, containing two stories, The Wind in the Willows and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, narrated by Basil Rathbone and Bing Crosby. Both segments are equally great in their own right, and I like how they put you into a certain place in history. The Wind in the Willows puts you in turn-of-the-century England, and Sleepy Hollow takes place in colonial America. Wind in the Willows centers on Mr. Toad, a slave for the latest fads that's initially costing him a fortune. He goes absolutely insane when he sees a motor car, and he stops at nothing to get one. He gets accused of stealing a motor car, landing him in court. It's a very well-paced story with many great supporting characters, especially Cyril Proudbottom.
Right-o, governor.
And has probably the most underrated song the studio ever did.
We're merrily, 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 merrily on our way to nowhere in particular. We're merrily, 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 merrily on our way through the roads of perpendicular.
I'd love to sing that with a friend during a road trip.
We've got to be there, we've got to be there, where we can we go.
The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is very different in tone. It's slightly gothic and eerie, but it does have its comedy. It tells the story of the new schoolmaster, Ichabod Crane. He tries to win over a striking beauty named Katrina, but he's up against the brutish Brom Bones, who is also interested in her. Here's what I find interesting in this story, though. Ichabod wants to marry Katrina for wealth, while Brom wants to marry her for love. So Brom really is the true hero if you think about it. He's not really a villain as you see here, it's just his Brom talking. The highlight of this segment is the Headless Horseman chasing Ichabod through the woods. It is a suspenseful sequence, but it retains some of the comedy so you don't get too scared. Ichabod and Mr. Toad show stunning visuals that actually won a Golden Globe. Expressive animation, great voice acting, and inescapably catchy songs. Ichabod and Mr. Toad are two fabulous characters indeed. Number 9. The Emperor's New Groove. The Emperor's New Groove was such a nice change of pace from some Disney movies, which always seemed to fall towards the romantic angle. This movie was actually going to fall into that, but what we get is something so laughably funny that it doesn't even care.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
It has a classic Warner Brothers vibe in terms of its visual humor, like characters breaking the fourth wall frequently. David Spade's voice is perfect for the main role of Kuzco, capturing that arrogance and obnoxiousness so well.
What is he babbling about? He's like the thing that wouldn't shut up.
His former advisor, Yzma, and her sidekick, Kronk, play each other off nicely. They're the ones who plan to kill Kuzco, but instead turn him into a llama. Their scenes together are some of the main highlights of the movie, and let's be honest, have some very quotable lines.
Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever!
Huh?
Why do we even have that lever?
Pacha is also a great character. He's about to lose his home because of Kuzco building a summer home right on top of the hill of his village, and he has to team up with Llama Kuzco to get back to his empire and stop Yzma from taking over. The Emperor's New Groove was directed by Mark Dindal, who also directed Cats Don't Dance for Warner Brothers, a criminally underrated movie. Oh, and he also directed Chicken Little? There are a lot of things that add to the energy that this movie brings. There's the animation, the writing, and the musical score. It's similar to The Incredibles, a brassy underscore that you would hear in a big band club. My one complaint about this movie is that it's too short, 78 minutes. I mean, you want a little more than that, don't you? I know I do. If you want something different from the usual Broadway musical fare Disney usually offers, The Emperor's New Groove is the remedy for that.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep.
Sharp rocks at the bottom?
Most likely.
Bring it on.